Zaquanium Wa'akim Yahweh Shem Shabakathum to you brothers. So check this out. I just found this on Instagram, and it looks real. It's a chariot hovering in New York City. It's a UFO in New York City. Yo, look at the birds. There's a UFO in New York City, y'all. Yo, it's a UFO in New York City. Yo, look at the birds. There's a UFO in New York City, y'all. Yo, it's a UFO in New York City. Yo, look at the birds. Shalom. First off, I'm going to start up by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, and Karkadash. Shalakia. That's all praises to the world cause God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, meaning in the name, Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. I also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, preaching His word in truth and sincerity. And the brother Tazabah, the Great Millstone, Arizona kept. Lord will with another video to edify. And like you can see, the Lord, these chariot sightings, they're starting to get closer and closer to the ground. For years, you can see them super far off, or it might zip by a plane. But there's been more accounts coming out recently where these chariots are close as hell to the ground, and people are getting more and more clear images of the chariots. When you see those things, you got to take that as a show for the Lord that He's about to start, issuing out His judgment on this earth, right? And those chariots are going to be used to help issue out the ultimate judgment. This is Malachi 3:2. It says, "But who may abide the day of His coming? And who shall stand when He appeareth? For He is like a refiner's fire and a fuller's soap." Right? Who's the He? It's talking about Yahweh through Yahushai. Because Yahushai is going to come with these chairs. So we're going to get those precepts, those same things that these people think are UFOs. They'll say that. We know those to be the chariots of the Lord. And just like Esau, the so-called white man, has his vehicles to fly through the heavens, the Heavenly Father had His vehicles from the beginning of times. When you go back into the book of Exodus, when it said a pillar of fire by day, or a pillar of a cloud by day, a pillar of fire by night, that was a chariot, right? It says, verse 3, it says, "He shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and He shall purify the sons of Levi," which is really talking about the entire nation, because we were all supposed to be a nation full of kings and priests. So when it's talking about purifying the sons of Levi, it's talking about really purifying the entire nation, right? And purge them as gold and silver, right? And there's souls that aren't going to be purged as gold and silver, because what the scriptures talk about, those who are going to be compared to as the dross of silver, meaning the 2/3. It says, that they may offer unto Yahweh an offering in righteousness. Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto Yahweh, as in the days of old and as in the former years. And I will come near to you to judgment. And that's what you're seeing. The Lord's coming near unto this world to judgment. And I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, against the adulterers, and against the false swearers, and against those that oppress the hireling in his wages. And this is what these chariots are going to be used for, to judge all these people. And all this goes into the heathen and 2/3 of you fucking niggas, man. It says, "The widow and the fatherless, and that turn aside the stranger from his right, and fear not me, say Yahweh of hosts." You see? So the Lord is about to come near to judgment. He's going to be against all these. This is Zephaniah or Zechariah 5. Zechariah 5 and 3. Is that right? Let me make sure, man. Yeah, Zechariah 5 and 3. I got to start up. Zechariah 5 and 1, it says, Then I turned and lifted up my eyes because Zechariah saw these same chariots and looked, and behold, a flying roll. Right? He saw something flying in the sky. He called it a flying roll. He saw one of those cylindrical chariots. Right? And those have been sighted too. It says, And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10. Right? And then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth over the face of the whole earth. You see? For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on that side according to it, and everyone that sweareth falsely, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. So these chariots is coming out to issue out judgment against the wicked. I will bring it forth, say Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. Now, who's the thief? John 10 and 10 tells you the thief coming not but to steal, kill, and destroy. Whose history is filled with stealing, killing, and destroying? The so-called white man. That says that when you go back to his blessing, back in the book of Genesis, the scriptures tell you that by his sword he shall live. This devil has got nothing through hard work. He's got it all through bloodshed and him slicing up an entire country and decimating them. So the Lord said, what? These chariots are going to enter into the house of the thief. Where is this main house that this devil resides? Babylon the Great America, and everywhere else that this devil lives. The land of Israel right now, those are Edomites, right? Europe, all those surrounding places, these shares are going to be everywhere getting down, but chiefly in America. I remember years ago, brothers had got an article where they sat there and showed that majority of the chariot sightings all happened in America. Since I will bring it forth, say Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, into the house of him that swear falsely by my name. That's Esau. They make you swearing on the Bible. When you go to court, and the scriptures tell you you're not supposed to swear by the heavens or by the temple. But they have you swearing. These devils presidents, they'll swear in on the Bible. And what do? The exact opposite what they promise the people. It says, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it. When you consume something, you're literally pulling it down. You're breaking it up. You're devouring it. And it says, and it shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stone thereof. Right? When you consume something with the timber thereof and the stone thereof, that's fire. The Lord is going to set this place ablaze, man. It's in the scriptures. It's going to burn as an oven. This is Jeremiah 10. Jeremiah 10 and 2, it says, Thus said Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. This is a sign in heaven. These chariots, these UFOs, man, this is to show you, because even when Yahweh was born, when it talks about the three wise men, they said they saw the star of the Lord. That star of the Lord that they saw was a chariot. It came, hovered over them, showed them the way to go. They brought the frankincense, the myrrh, and the gold to Yahweh when he was born. That chariot was right there. This is just a sign in heaven to show you that, hey, the Lord is about to come back and do this thing. It says, for the heathen are dismayed at them. You see, we're not supposed to be dismayed. We know what these things are, so we're supposed to be encouraged to just keep pushing. 2 Ezra 9. and 2. It says, thou shalt understand that it is the very, I started one. It says, then answered me that he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shall thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Right? And we see earthquakes, uproars of the people, famines, storm and tempest. All these things are exploding everywhere in the world right now. Wars, rumors of war, all this stuff is happening right now. Economic downturn, all these things are prophesied in the scriptures, and they're happening all at the same time right now. So we know that when we start seeing these chairs heaped in with that, that's a sign to let you know that this is what the Lord talked about. This is the very same time where the Lord is about to start visiting this world. And when you see them chariots get closer and closer, the Lord is drawing near unto judgment. Habakkuk 3. And I'm going to jump around in this. Habakkuk 3 and 3, it says, the Most High came from Teman, the Holy One from Mount Paran. Salah, his glory covered the heavens. Talking about what? All those chariots. It said the earth was filled with and the earth was full of his praise. And his brightness was as the light. And he had horns coming out of his hands, talking about the power that those chariots have. And there was the hiding of his power. Before him went the pestilence, burning coals went forth of his feet. Those laser beams, boom, boom. It says he stood and measured the earth, and behold, drove asunder the nations. This is how the Lord's going to come with them chariots. He's going to be breaking shit up. And the everlasting mountains were scattered. When it's talking about those mountains, it's talking about the large governments, and the perpetual hills, the smaller nations, did bow. His ways are everlasting. I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction, and the curtains of Median did tremble. Was Yahweh displeased? Was he? Was Yahweh displeased? Against the rivers was thine anger, against the rivers was thy wrath, against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thy horses and thy chariots of salvation. So those chariots have the same ability to be things for salvation and things for destruction. Says thy bow was made quite naked, talking about the missiles. According to the oath of the tribes, even thy words, Allah, thou didst cleave the earth with rivers. The mountains saw thee, and they trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by, and the deep uttered his voice and lifted up his hands on high. All right? When the Lord comes, he's going to be getting down with the chariots and those missiles. The scriptures talk about heap on wood. And that's what the Lord's going to do. He's going to make the fire great. This is Psalm 68. Psalm 68 and 17, it says, the chariots of Yahweh are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. You see, the Lord has millions of chariots, man. We go back to, I think it's Elijah or Elisha. He prayed that who was with him, the Lord will open their eyes so he can see. And when his eyes were open to the spiritual realm, he said that the valley is full of chariots. Right? So in the spirit, really around us right now, thousands of chariots around bros. It says, thou hast ascended on high, and has led captivity captive. Thou hast received gifts of men for men, yeah, the rebellious also, that Yahweh power mighty dwell among men. Right? This is Acts 1, because what you got to understand is the Lord is the one coming with these. Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorant calls Jesus, his real name is Yahweh Shai. He's the one that's going to be coming with these chariots and getting down. Because when he was here the first time, this is what it said. It says, this is Acts 1 and 9. It says, and when he had spoken these things, talking about Yahweh Shai, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, and that cloud was a chariot, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which were angels, was also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? The same Yahweh Shai, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him, as ye have seen him go into heaven. So just as Yahweh Shai was taken up into chariot, he's gonna come back in a chariot. Remember the scriptures say, all eyes shall see him. He's gonna be coming with the power and the glory, majesty. Right? Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and 30. I'll start at 29. It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. And the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Talking about the destruction, right? Because when those missiles start going, it's going to block out the sun, right? It's going to block out the light of the moon. It says, and the powers of heaven being shaken, meaning the rulerships of this earth. It says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, right? And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. You're going to see the Heavenly Father's Son coming with the clouds of heaven, the chariots of the Lord. They're going to fill the skies, man. They're going to fill the skies. People are going to see and know that, hey, what we told you was right. What you said was UFOs, were the angels of the Lord, and Yahweh Shai is coming with them to get his people. And the same ones that these people on this earth didn't look for as being an example of righteousness, the ones that were out there on the highways and byways in garments with fringes on them, consistently being despised among men, those are the same ones that the Lord's dealing with. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. That's what them chariots are going to be used for, to destroy this place and save the elect. Because in Daniel, right, in the book of Daniel, there was a vision that was given where Daniel addressed the vision of the king. And I'm gonna get to the point on it. Daniel 2 and 34. It says, thou sawest till the stone was cut out without hands. And what is that stone that was cut out without hands? It's a chariot of the Lord. It says, and smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. I'm gonna get down to the point. Verse 42, it says, and as of the toes and the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken, talking about the Edomite power structure, right? The NATO, the EU, how some countries are strong, some countries are weak, and then they don't agree together. Whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, all these nations, right? NATO and the EU, but they shall not cleave one to another, as the iron is not mixed with the clay. Now, verse 44, it says, and in those days, and in the days of these kings, shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest the stone that was cut out of the mountain without hands, right? And this is the same thing that not Daniel, but Ezra saw, right? That it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power, right, had made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation is true. The dream is certain, and the interpretation is true. Yahushua is going to come in that large chariot and get busy with this place. This is 2nd Ezra 13, and started 6. It says, and I beheld, and lo, you know what? I started 5. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. Talking about Yahushua. And I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. That's the mountain that was the stone that was cut out without hand, right? But I would have seen the place or region. I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not, because that chariot was so huge he couldn't see the ends of it. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet there's fight. All right? It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, just straight power. But only I saw that he sent out of his hand, sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Talking about them laser beams from the chariots. He just commanded it, and it happened. And they all were mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the sound, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which were prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one of them, so that upon a sudden, an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. That's how Yahushua is coming. Decimate. Decimate, decimate. That's what these chariots are going to be used for. So the Lord's coming near to judgment. Shalom.